Hey everyone! Welcome back to Product X. I'm Rena, your host. Today we're diving into something that honestly has the entire tech world buzzing. Professor Fei-Fei Li, the godmother of AI herself, just launched Astrocade. The pitch is wild. Generate an entire playable game with a single text prompt. No coding skills needed, no expensive dev team required. So Vivian, let's start with you. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, Rena. I'm Vivian Liu, a senior angel investor at PreAngel Fund. I focus on early-stage tech startups, especially in AI and consumer platforms.
And I'm Nolan, a former CTO at a major Silicon Valley company, now an independent advisor. I've spent years building large-scale systems, and I'm really excited about what this means for the future of game development.
So here's the big question: can a single prompt really replace years of game development? The tech world seems divided on whether this is revolutionary or just hype. Vivian, you first. We know traditional game studios invest hundreds of millions and years into AAA titles. Is the capital market actually buying this disruption story?
Honestly, the answer is a resounding yes from the VC community. Astrocade is attacking one of the most lucrative intersections on the internet right now, gaming, plus UGC. We saw what Roblox did, right? It proved that if you give players simple tools, they create way more content than any studio ever could. But Roblox still had a learning curve. You needed to pick up some Lua scripting, understand how to place 3D models. Astrocade's bet is that the marginal cost of creation drops to basically zero. That's when you get a content explosion. That's when you get the next TikTok of gaming.
Yeah, I want to jump in there because as someone who's actually built these systems, I think the comparison to Roblox is useful, but maybe a bit undersells the technical gap. Roblox gave you a set of building blocks. What Astrocade is promising is that the AI literally writes the code while you type. That's a fundamentally different beast.
So Nolan, that's the perfect transition. Everyone knows AI can draw a pretty picture now. But a game needs logic, physics, interaction. How does Astrocade actually solve that?
Right, so here's where most people misunderstand what's happening. They think it's just plugging in Midjourney and calling it a game engine. It's not. The hardest part of any game isn't the visuals, it's the state machine and the collision detection. When a player says, "My dinosaur loses health when it hits an alien," the system has to translate that natural language into actual executable code that runs in the physics engine. It has to define variables, set up triggers, handle the collision response. And that's before we even get to the spatial awareness piece.
Wait, spatial awareness?
Yeah, this is where Fei-Fei Li's recent research really matters. The AI can't just think in 2D pixels. It has to understand that a dinosaur on Mars has weight, is affected by gravity, that jumping follows physical laws. That's what she calls spatial intelligence, teaching AI to reason about three-dimensional space and physics. Without that, you just get pretty pictures that don't interact properly.
If I can add something from the business side, that technical complexity actually plays into why this might work commercially. The barrier to entry isn't just the user interface, it's the underlying infrastructure. Most startups can't replicate what they're building. That said, the capital question becomes, how do you monetize if every generation costs serious GPU money?
So, both of you are saying the tech is real, but the economics are tricky. Let's dig into that more. What's the biggest hurdle for Astrocade specifically?
For me, it's the inference cost problem. If this truly scales to millions of daily users generating games in real time, the GPU burn rate will be insane. You can't charge users for creation if you want that TikTok-level viral growth, but you also can't sustain free tiers forever. They need to find a model that works.
And from the engineering side, I'd say the playability alignment is the killer. We deal with hallucinations in LLMs all the time. You get a slightly wrong answer, you shrug it off. In game code, a missing semicolon or a bad variable reference crashes the whole thing. Characters clip through walls, physics breaks. You need massive human feedback loops to train the model on what playable actually means. That's a moat if they build it right. but it's a huge mountain to climb first.
That's really interesting. You're both pointing to different kinds of moats. Vivian, you see the business model as the challenge. Nolan, you see the training data as the opportunity. Do you think they can actually pull off both?
The honest answer? It's a bet on whether they can iterate fast enough on the business side. The UGC economics have proven themselves in other sectors. The question is whether the compute costs come down fast enough to make the math work.
And on the technical side, I'd say it's a bet on whether they can crack the RLHF problem for game logic specifically. Generic LLMs are good at code, but game code is a different animal. If they build that dataset first, they'll have a huge lead.
Okay, let's do a quick lightning round. Fast answers, don't overthink it. First question, if you had to describe Astrocade in one word, what would it be?
Disruptor.
Ambitious.
Second, what's one game you'd personally want to generate with a single prompt?
Oh, easy. A roguelike deck builder, where I'm a venture capitalist fighting bad founders in the startup world. You know, with power-ups like Series A and down rounds as attacks.
Honestly, a physics-based puzzle game where you throw objects at structures. Something satisfying to watch collapse.
Third biggest risk factor in the next 12 months?
Compute costs eating the runway.
Someone else's model catching up on spatial intelligence.
Fourth, if you could ask Fei-Fei Li one question, what would it be?
How do you plan to balance free access with sustainability?
What's your training data strategy for game logic?
Last one, wild prediction for where this space is going in 3 years?
We'll see the first AI-generated game hit the top charts on Steam.
Every major game studio will have an AI co-pilot tool like this embedded in their workflow.
Love it. Okay, Vivian, give us a one-sentence summary of what Astrocade represents.
It's the democratization of game creation at scale, but the jury's still out on whether the economics will ever work.
Nolan?
It's a technically ambitious attempt to turn game design from a specialized skill into a universal language that AI can speak.
Awesome. So to wrap up, Astrocade is either going to be the next big platform or a really expensive experiment. Either way, the fact that the Godmother of AI is betting big on gaming tells us something important about where this technology is heading. Thanks to Vivian and Nolan for breaking it down with us. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay curious.